Welcome back to another episode of Good Company. Out in the more or less beautiful weather. It actually looked more beautiful this morning. But it seemed like such a good idea at the time to go outside, so we kind of did.
And get a change of scenery as well.
Get a change of scenery for you guys. It's all for you. You know we love you. I don't know.
All right, let's start off.
Let's actually talk about games and stuff.
You have been playing some.
I've been more or less playing.
And avoiding some other games, but that's a different story.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. I've been kind of playing. We're in that weird situation, both of us right now, but I was playing Star Wars Galaxies. I was having a great time in Star Wars Galaxies. I was actually getting somewhere with my smuggler for once. Having a lot of fun doing that. And then, well, Sony Online Entertainment, which is running the servers for Star Wars Galaxies, they kind of shut down. So now I haven't been playing for several days. I'm going a bit shaky. I'd really like to hit tier 4 on my smuggler missions. It's driving me nuts. But yeah, I've been kind of playing Star Trek Online just to have something to play. It's in space at least. Vulcans are almost Wookiees. Yeah, that's what I'm in. And you've been playing Topspin.
Yeah. Well, I
kind of having
actually, I kind of took advantage of PSN being down. First off, I got the Infamous 2 beta, like the day that it went down, and I managed to download it before, so I was like, yes. So I played a bit around with that a little bit. Yeah. Then I played a ton of offline stuff. I platinumed Lego Star Wars 3 that we talked about. Tried to platinum Topspin, but then I'm missing a couple of online trophies. And it's
been rough for you, man.
No, it's actually I've been having a lot of fun playing those, and now I just hope my PlayStation doesn't die while PSN is down, so I lose all the trophies that I've earned. I've gone back to play Arkham Asylum again. Yeah. Doing that, it's been.
You're
fun.
One trophy away from.
No, it's actually like 3 trophies because you get. It's the challenges in the end, the brawl ones.
Those are insane.
Yeah, I'm missing 1 bad symbol in that. So when I get that, I get for getting all the brawl, and then I get for 100%ing the game, and then I get the platinum. So it's like, okay. I'm on like 80% or something, and then it's just...
But the PSN should be up fairly soon. But we thought we'd just take a minute to talk about the entire PSN. Well, I'm not sure what to call it. The spectacle, the fiasco, the madness that has been surrounding Sony for the last couple of weeks, really. Yeah. Last time we did Good Company, it was still up. Everything was normal. Now it's been a couple of weeks, and what did your impressions of when the entire thing started? You know, when we actually found out that there had been an intrusion and it seemed like they actually had personal information.
Well, after being happy that I got my Infamous beta, then I was like, okay, it's fine, down a couple of days. People get hacked, everybody will, if you piss off hackers. Yeah. Then when they said like 4 or 5 days later that they had actually been like hacked and lost credit cards, or maybe, the only thing that really annoyed me was that they didn't tell us right away. Not that maybe they didn't know what had happened, but they said we know some bad stuff might have happened. We might have been hacked. Say that right away, because when you shut down PSN and it's not maintenance, then you should know. Okay, it's because they knew something might be up. Yeah. Tell us, and then the rest. I mean, they're doing what they can now. They're discovering. So he's been hacked as well. Yeah. I mean.
There's a lot of people that have been saying that Sony actually reacted in the only way they could react, and the way they handled the entire affair was more or less by the book. I'm not sure I 100% agree with that, because the moment they saw that they must have known that they had a rather big intrusion, because when it went down last time, early April, it was because of Anonymous and because of a denial of service attack, which was one thing, but this was actually, they could see that people had been inside their databases. Yeah. And I think they should have been more open about that straight away, so people could cancel credit cards. Even though they say that the credit cards were encrypted, people like to feel safe.
Yeah.
And they like
I think canceling credit cards is overreacting, but Sony should let people overreact.
That should be my prerogative, really, if I want to cancel my credit card or not. You can go ahead and, if you actually have the credit cards, go ahead and try to use mine because it's an old one. So,
but I think after the first, after the first couple of days, when they actually said, okay, this is us turning PSN off, and it's because we've been hacked and all that. After that, I think it's been fine. And they're compensating people, and they're doing what they can, and hiring people, and talking to FBI, and all that. I mean,
it's a huge deal, though. It's hard to really grasp how big this thing actually is, and it's been all over the news. It's been on CNN, it's BBC, all the kind of big international news, and 77 million accounts.
That's a lot.
It's a disturbing. It was a rather big thing when Gawker got hacked, but there we were talking. I'm not sure how many thousands, but it was like 50,000, perhaps 50 to 100,000 accounts, and that was big. And this is 77 million.
Yeah.
And then we could actually earlier this week, because Sony Online Entertainment is kind of a separate thing from Sony.
Yeah.
But they're in the same data center, as far as I understood it. And so we went up after just, I think, 12 hours or a day or something like that. And everything seemed fine. But then, of course, a couple of days ago, they realized that they'd actually been inside Zoe as well. And so we could add another 24 million accounts to the original number of 77.
Accounts, right?
That was a bit more complicated because according to Zoe, first of all, okay, 24 million, some of those are, of course, overlapping with PSN.
And the same with PSN, some of them are not
multiple
active.
I have 3, of course,
so.
but at the same time, it doesn't even matter because your personal information is still installed. But in Zoe's case, it seemed like they got their hands on the database of personal information, and then they got their hands on, we think, on an old database, an outdated database from 2007, which includes credit cards of around, I think it was 12,000 non-US citizens, and debit cards from like Austria and Spain and Germany and stuff like that. So if you ever have played a Zoe game, even though you might have canceled, and you might even just been on a trial back a couple of years ago, you probably should change your passwords anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a PSN account. I have a friend who played Vanguard with me for like 2 weeks. He's been changing his passwords now because of this. He's not touched a Zoe game since. So it's a bit iffy right now. But they also seem to handle it as well as they can. There's a lot of blame going around. There's a lot of hate going around. Zoe was not the most popular MMO company in the world already, and now people have been saying a lot of bad things about them. They wanted to make this clear that it was not a separate attack. It was not a new attack.
Yeah, that was the whole thing that first people complained, which I also did, that Sony didn't say something to begin with, and now that they then they said something, and now they find out more stuff. Some media make it sound like it's a separate attack, which is probably why Sony tried to wait a bit with putting it out there that they've been attacked, so it doesn't sound like they've been attacked 5 times in a week.
No, it's been one attack that we know of, and that's the big thing that brought down PSN and now brought down Zoe.
I think in general, what we should take away from this is just don't use the same password on like a million sites.
No.
Protect your stuff when you can. I mean, with this way we're living now, with everything online, we are vulnerable to stuff. And
definitely never use the same password that you use, for example, social media, for your email account, your banks, if you have a bank with a password. And, well, try to keep them separate as much as possible. And
check your bank statements once in a while. Check if there's something iffy. I mean,
and also make sure if you're using any form of email that has a two-way, if you have a smartphone, for example, your email provider, especially if you use Google, for example, they actually have a two-way authorization system that you can actually get. Like if you're playing World of Warcraft, or of course using an internet bank, you already have a kind of a two-way authentication system where you have a separate authenticator that you have to use to log in. That might be something worth researching and see if your email provider has that, because that will give you another layer of security and will give you some peace of mind. I'm happy to know that my Google stuff is protected by two-way authentication.
And also, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I've last year or 2 years ago, I lost some money on my credit card spent in England when I hadn't been in England, and contact my bank, got the money back, no problems. I mean, it's...
Of course, it is mostly a hassle when it comes to, because all credit cards more or less are insured. Yeah. I've had the same thing, especially after E3, my card actually got skimmed in LA last year, and all of a sudden I've been withdrawing money in New York, which was kind of odd, but I got those money back the same day, actually. But it's not something you want to happen, especially if you have bills to pay and all of a sudden there's money missing. And also take internet security very seriously, and identity theft is a big deal as well. There's also always social engineering. So if you're on PSN and if you're on Sony, just keep your eyes open for a bit. Don't go panic.
No.
But still be vigilant.
Yeah.
Be prepared, and you should always be prepared for stuff like this.